Hey again, guys. Okay, so I feel like I'm already gonna regret saying that this is gonna be an everyday kind of thing, but I do think that diving right into it and trying to be consistent by creating content every day is pretty much the only way I or any of you are really gonna follow through with the challenge. That said, if you miss a day or if I miss a day because I'm imperfect, surprise, that's fine. It's not about having to do it. It's about wanting to do it. So just to clarify that right at the beginning, if you miss a day, that's okay. For those who are wondering what I'm talking about, I just initiated a creative rebirth challenge for the Riot Girl Rebirth community, partially for selfish reasons because I want to start creating more content for this YouTube channel. My challenge to myself is to do YouTube videos. But I also thought, hey, there's a lot of you guys who are like, hey, I used to write or I used to draw or I really have been thinking about this business idea. So I thought, a creative rebirth challenge. It's for us adults to create together, get feedback from our peers, support each other, like each other's stuff on social media, like a little bit of just community support, because as much as Riot Girl Rebirth, our community is full of awesome memes and a lot of funny content, we're all hilarious. Maybe we could do something more serious with it and encourage each other in our creative ventures. Stop, point, moving on. Today's video is about the thing now, the elephant in the room that I brought up in my last video. A lot of you guys had asked me to elaborate on. By a lot of you guys, I mean 4 people messaged me, but that's 4 people who were curious, so I thought, hey, why not make a video? So I'm going to talk about how I went from body and self-esteem bra blogger to social media marketing strategist, the journey. But I'm going to do it from the perspective of, how I turned a passion of mine into my career. If you're not aware, I'm self-employed. I have been self-employed with my own business. Business is because I've closed one version of the business and started other versions of the business. So I've had multiple businesses over the 8 years that I have been doing things. But the first incarnation of kind of online passion project that I started was a body and self-esteem blog. Now, it was called at first Better Bras. It was just Better Bras. I wrote under, I sometimes go by my middle name, Michelle. I did that for privacy reasons because there were pictures of me with my boobs out reviewing bras. So that's when I started going actually by Michelle Peters rather than my actual name, Brandy. Was for the bra blog originally, was for privacy stuff. I didn't want people that I knew in my real life to know I was doing that. But what I did was I would get products sent to me. I said in my last video that I was a 32 double F, but it depended on the brand. So I was in a weird size. I was either 32 double F or a 34H. I gained quite a bit of weight actually while I was doing that. So when I got my reduction, I just looked back at some of the old content and I was a 34 double H in some bra sizes when I decided to have a breast reduction, which I also blogged about, wrote articles about, and was paid to document that whole process. And it seems like a whole lifetime ago because that is so far away from me now that I'm that was a whole other person. But that's truthfully the first kind of adventure I had in online content marketing, blogging, commercial, product reviewing, all of that stuff started there. And then I learned about content marketing and the content industry. There's a whole world of SEO as well as just creative copywriting. And for me, because I'd gone to film school, I thought I wanted to be a screenwriter. I'd been dabbling in freelance writing. When I started that blog, I just decided to start a content writing business. And my content writing business was me. I was the content writer and I provided content writing services. So it was things like ebooks, email marketing, landing page copy, social media post copy, just copy for online stuff. I don't really have a portfolio to like be like, here's all this stuff I did, but I'm pretty sure over the years I wrote millions of words. It's mostly like ghostwriting though, so like I would write like an article or a blog as someone else and they would get credit for it. So that was a whole thing. That was like something I did for a very long time, till about 2016. One thing that actually happened during that time from like 2012 to 2016, besides me being a content writer for other people, was I also became very good at Facebook marketing and like marketing myself as an entrepreneur using Facebook groups. And so I was incredibly visible. I had like a small social media following doing that then, because everything that I've done has been kind of social media based. So then people started to ask me to help them with their social media marketing. And from there, it kind of like transitioned more into a focus on social media marketing more than it was content writing, which at that point, you know, I think I was a little fed up with just constantly writing content for other people. And a lot of it was just stuff like, you know, how to hire a good plumber, that kind of stuff. Like a lot of it wasn't like really substantially like creative. It was more like SEO based. So some of the projects I did, which were more like helping, like I worked with a lot of like spiritual entrepreneurs and life coaches and stuff like that. So I did a lot of like, you know, kind of, I wouldn't call it fluff writing, but like business storytelling and like enticing people to opt in, and then doing like funnel marketing for like, you know, email warming for like courses and physical products as well. And so I'd done a lot of that, but most of it was like SEO copywriting. So like, I don't know, 5 ways to be more organized. One project that I did for a long time was for a brand of diaper rash cream. I was a mommy blogger. Like I could write as kind of like myself in that project. Like I could kind of be myself, but really we were just like writing to market like this all natural baby product that was primarily like the main anchor product was actually a diaper rash cream. And that was actually like really good ongoing work. I mean, I can't complain. I managed their social media. I got paid. I wrote blogs. I got to write about different like mommy topics and stuff. And it was like a good gig. A lot of the stuff I did were like good gigs for the time that I did them. The only thing that I really like look back on and kind of like is that I should have been charging more. Honestly, I was so excited to be doing this work and making like a living that I didn't really know what the going rates were for like social media marketing services and content writing services or creative services. So I just kind of like underpriced myself to get the jobs. And for that reason, like for the first few years that I was doing that stuff, I think I was like really undercharging. But where we live, we actually have a really good like cost of living. So I was like, I'm doing really well. And then later in my life, I was like, oh, I could have been charging maybe like 3 times more than I was. So if you are in any kind of like creative industry, you should really check what other people are charging, because that's my number one regret about that whole kind of like sequence of my life. But then when I started doing like Facebook ads and Facebook advertising, when I started to really niche into Facebook and consulting on like Facebook strategies and stuff, I did increase my prices and things did improve in that way. Like one of the big arcs, I guess, story arcs is like 2 years ago, my husband left his trades job and he's a stay-at-home dad and I work and I still do like social media marketing, consulting and strategy for a living today. But how I got from bra blogger, like bra reviewer to social media marketing strategist, it was just kind of like a series of like opportunities and then kind of decisions to shift gears at different times because, you know, mostly just because I wanted to, but also because I saw opportunities in other places. It's interesting because like even though it's not been like that long, like I'm not that old, I've had a pretty substantial career in like the online space and a lot of trends have changed. Like it was like a lot of like SEO content for blogging when I started, but then more people shifted into like using Facebook ads for immediate traffic. So I just was an opportunist in a lot of ways. I was just like, you know, it's a lot easier to write like a good line of copy and strategize some ads for people than it is to like write write 600 words up to 1,200 words and put those into their blog. So I like switched my business partially because of opportunity, partially because my interests kind of shifted. I think what might be interesting to people about that journey is, first of all, like, I make it sound like, oh, it's just such a natural thing. But really, for me, when I first started, it was out of like necessity to make some income. Okay, so like I had a necessity to start bringing in a little bit of extra for our family. My husband and I just bought a house. When I actually started first like trying to make some money online, it was while I was pregnant. I wasn't yet married to my husband. He's my husband now, and he's the father of my children, but I wasn't sure at the time if that relationship was going to work out because we had only been dating for about 4 months when we first met. So I was really desperate to like make some money, and I had two things. I had my 2 years, it's like my certificate in visual communications, that's graphic design, and then I'd also done like 2 years of like film studies, and I had done an independent study in screenwriting, so I had all these scripts. And I guess the first paid gig I got outside of the bra blogging that I was doing anyway is kind of like a side hustle hobby. It was something I was really excited and passionate about, which is like, you know, still something that I think is really cool. Like body image, body positivity is still like something that I wish I was speaking out about more. Again, that project was kind of like actually before its time because it was like this really like niche community of like body and self-esteem bloggers slash product reviewers. The only thing was that I started doing online writing, like paid gigs, because I wanted to make some money, and so I started writing YouTube explainer video scripts. That was another trend, like that kind of happened in like 2012, was a big thing, was every website had like an explainer video because it was really good for like SEO because of YouTube and Google, their connections. So without knowing anything about marketing, really, I just was hired to write those scripts because I'd been marketing myself as a scriptwriter because all I had was screenwriting scripts that I put into like my freelancer portfolio and stuff. So my journey has just like kind of been pretty random, and I'm actually pretty open about that because I think especially if you're at like a beginner level, you're just like, maybe I could have a business of my own, or maybe I could turn some of my like creative skills into a way that I make a living. For me, it was really organic how everything has happened. I did find like where kind of like my area of interests were by trying different things. I said yes to a lot of things in order to learn if I liked them or not. My business models, so the businesses that I have created, have kind of been based off of like, oh, like I'll do something and I'll be like, hey, like there's something to that. I think I could do that for an extended period of time to make a living, which is like a really exciting privilege, obviously being self-employed, but also being able to like kind of make those decisions. Although I have had flops and failures, I don't like to get too like negative about it, but like there was a period of time in 2016, 2017-ish where I had gone out on my own from like some contract work that I had been pretty much like paying the bills with for a long time. A company in California that specialized in SEO had been feeding me work, ongoing work, just like keeping food on my table. It was really good. But I kind of had a moment where I was like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to be like a consultant and coach. And I think it's important to talk about your failures as well as your successes. That was like the hardest year of my life. Actually, like I've been having struggles this year as well. 2019 has been tough in certain ways, which I'll talk about maybe in a future video, but 2016, 2017, where I was marketing myself as a consultant and coach, I really like grasped the straws as far as like making any sort of money, and trying to find like clients who actually wanted to hire me. I think now it was kind of like I was putting the horse before the cart. Like I thought I had the experience and knowledge base to start consulting with people and helping consult on how they should be doing their online business. But at the time, you know, I was still, you know, a pretty fresh little hen, because I see that now. Because if I was to do that now and be like, okay, I'm going to coach people on business and online like marketing and all those things I was trying to do as a marketing strategy coach or consultant in 2016, 2017, where I really struggled to do that, I I would do things completely differently. However, it's not that I didn't have like some success with that. It was just very different than when I had my content writing business and work was aplenty and everything was very positive. It was definitely like a huge reality check that I was kind of like in over my head. It also made me realize, like, again, how lucky I have been. And I am a big advocate of gratitude, so that's something that'll probably come up in a lot of these videos, is you should just be grateful for everything in your life, even the bad experiences, and try to have a perspective where you are positive or able to frame it in a positive way to kind of try and keep that voice in your head, you know, your friend rather than your enemy, which we can talk about ways that I do that in the future. Obviously, I'm not perfect. I definitely have down days, but I try to be grateful for even the negative experiences. So I'm grateful that I had the learning experiences that I had, even when I had setbacks. And I'm also really grateful for the years that I have been able to be self-employed and do creative things and work with different people and gain all the different experience that I have gained. But to conclude this video today, I just want to say that, like, if you have something that you do that is like a creative passion, you could potentially start making money doing it, creating your own business and employing yourself. I think that's one of the things that now I'm a big advocate for, like anybody who knows me in real life, but even if you just like get into my stratosphere, I am always telling people, like, that could be your business idea. If you like your day job and you're happy with your career, then that's awesome. But if you wish that maybe you'd pursued like something more creative or artistic, or maybe you have a passion that you want to turn into a way that you make money, so like some kind of business venture, I say that you should start working on that and that there is always a way. The current climate of like the online economy is pretty good. It's pretty promising. No matter where you live, if you dive into it, it's just a world of opportunity for people who are willing to kind of see those opportunities for what they are. I mean, obviously I'm a testament to that, as I now don't just have social media consulting, but I also now have this Riot Girl Rebirth project, which the e-commerce store is, you know, it's a baby. It's not been up very long, but it's another way now that I'm able to bring in an income to work on this new passion project. So I want to encourage people, like, to consider all possibilities. And that's, I guess, the end point of today's video, is that's how it happened for me. It's kind of the Cliff Notes short story, but, you know, it happened for me, and I'm probably the most normal person out there, besides the fact that I just, you know, said yes to opportunities and pursued things that were a little bit unconventional. And I think I'll talk in another video about like that, because it's been a weird ride. Living in where I live, which is Medicine Hat, small city, very conservative, technology-wise, about 5-10 years behind. It's been a weird ride, like doing the stuff that I do online, being so, you know, eccentric and visible in social media, and also being someone who is not following like conventional like life path of marriage, babies, career at a nice 9-to-5 job, career climbing, ladder climbing. I have been very like, you know, non-conventional, alternative for many years, and it's had its ups and downs. So I'll talk about that in another video. I want to thank you guys again for watching until the end. If you haven't done so already, subscribe. It's not too late to join the challenge. If you'd like to rebirth your creative passions, sign up and join the private group. We are working our way through day to day, just putting out some creative content, kind of, you know, putting on some training wheels, supporting each other and sharing each other's stuff. It's going to be a good time. Join the challenge. All right, we'll talk again soon. Bye.